You need a front-end cold traffic offer. So let's make a quick distinguishment between the land of warm traffic and the land of cold traffic. Those guys you see with these kind of vague offers and everything's kind of like easy for them. And they're like, yeah, bro, I signed a bunch of clients and I don't use any kind of guarantees or anything like that. What they're doing is that they have traffic coming to them. It's people who already know, like, and trust them. It's an audience of people that they have nurtured, either spending tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars or ads, or the same via content, and have waited years in order to establish this. But what if you're somebody who has not done that? What if you're kind of more in the beginner stages and you don't have astronomical amounts of people following you? You're not like an established authority figure in the market. You don't have people just coming to you for whatever reason, and you need to sign clients right now. What happens is these people in the land of warm traffic say, oh, you don't need any of that crazy guarantee stuff or whatever. You don't need to do any of that, while they sit here and just only work their inbound traffic and never work with cold traffic ever, right? But you don't have an option for that if you don't have a bunch of followers and already a market authority. You have to close cold traffic. And that is fundamentally what I'm going to talk to you about today. Is you need a front-end cold traffic offer, because what you've been doing up to this point is you see somebody who's making all of their money via warm traffic, you copy their offer, you try to work that offer on cold and it doesn't work, and you're like, why isn't this working? And you're completely confused. It's because you can't do what they're doing because you don't have what they have, right? What is a front-end cold traffic offer, right? So I want to give you a quick distinguishment and like analogy to imagine this, right? A front-end cold traffic offer is when you're like an absolute 10 out of 10 baddie walking down the street or like in the bar or something like that, and people are just staring at you. You've never spoken to them before ever. Like, how many relationships in the world develop just because based off like proximity? Like, you're in the same friend groups or you go to the same church or your co-workers. This is generally how relationships form, right? But there's a category of humans on the planet who just walk into any establishment or whatever. People just stare at them and come up to them or are completely head over heels in love with them immediately without them doing anything at all. That's what a front-end cold traffic offer is, right? Because you have an absence of warm traffic. What that fundamentally means is that you don't go to church. You don't have a friend group. You don't have coworkers. This would be the equivalent of that. It's just turning yourself into somebody who is so wildly attractive that people just immediately fall in love with you and just want to date you. That's what this is. So let's break down what the actual syntax of this is saying. Front-end cold traffic offer. Why am I specifying front end? Because there are specific offers that you can sell to people that only work as an upsell or cross-sell or a sale that occurs after they've already become a customer. What's an example of this? It would be something like, hey, I'll run your Google ads with like no claim behind it. Cold traffic is not just going to pay you money to run their Google ads with no specification of the exact kind of results that they can get or a risk reversal to ensure that they don't lose money. That's something that somebody would buy if you had already produced results for them on another product that they purchased. That was a front-end cold traffic offer. Let me give you an actual example of one client I had who could not make this distinguishment in his mind. So I was talking to him and he's telling me that he wanted to sell like data analytics services, funnel analytics, where like he reports stats of like marketing funnels and whatnot. And I was like, why do you want to sell this? Why do you think this is something that can be sold? And he says, well, I already worked at an agency and we do this for the clients, and the clients buy this from us. And I go, do you sell that on the front end as a front end cold traffic offer? And that's the first thing the clients buy. And he thought about it. He's like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, how are they getting clients? What is the offer the clients are buying for this agency you work for? How are they even getting there in the first place? He had just a normal job where he just did the data analytics. And he goes, well, we sell them webinar funnels. I'm like, oh, okay. So how is the webinar funnel being sold? He go, oh, well, we're guaranteeing that the webinar will convert at this amount and they make this much money, or they get this much ROAS on the front end of the webinar. And then when we start the webinar, like I'm the person doing the data analytics for them. And I was like, okay, got it. So we can make the establishment here that your data analysis, data analytics offer is not a front end cold traffic offer. It's the build out of a webinar funnel that is the front end cold traffic offer. You are making the client new money, right? It's not doing something with something that they already have and just showing them numbers. Like, no one's paying you for that. That's not a front end cold traffic offer. This is like a supplemental thing that's a nice to have off of the back of a front end cold traffic offer. Massive distinguishment here, because I told him you're never going to make any money if you're trying to sell this little data analytics thing as a front end cold traffic offer, because there's no market demand for it as a front end offer. Cold traffic does not want to purchase this from you. It's really that simple. So let's break down how you might create a front end end cold traffic offer, and some kind of little tricks or hacks I found making sure this happens. There's a couple different avenues that you can go down with this, but the most tried and true one is by promising a specific quantifiable result and then putting a risk reversal on that result. So what do I mean by a specific quantifiable result? So first is that a lot of you guys might think that, say you're an advertising agency and you sell meta ads, and you think you can just say like, hey, we run your meta ad and like we're really good experts. So if I tell the clients that like we're really good experts and I talk about how many years of experience we have, like they're gonna buy it from us because they know we're experts. No, everybody is an expert. And no, what does this do when you're saying, oh, I'm an expert? We're a team of experts and we get really good results. What is this doing? This is all about you. We're this, we are this, I am this, I am this, I am this, I am this. It's not focusing on the client. What does the client want? Because the client doesn't want to spend money on meta ads. What is the real thing that the client wants for spending their money on meta ads? It's sales. It's new customers for their business, right? So what does that mean? It means that we need to stop focusing on what the thing is and we need to focus on what they want, where it's like, hey, here's more customers. I can give you more customers. And then what's the question that they're going to ask? Well, how many customers? And you're going to say this much. And they're going to say, well, what's the amount of profit I can make in that? Because I can't put like 10,000 in and only get 10,000 back and then I have to pay you because then I'm losing money, right? So now they're asking like, well, am I going to make a profit? That's where you come in. And that's what you say is that I can do this for you, get you this result. You see what I mean? It's a specific quantifiable promise, right? Now, what's the second thing that's going to occur when a client is presented with this opportunity? What's the first thing that they're going to ask? They're going to say, well, what if it doesn't work? Because you're out here and you say, you give me $3,000 and then we're going to go spend like $3,000 on meta ads and I'm going to get you this result. And they're like, okay, yeah, cool. That sounds good. But what if I don't get that result after I'm out $6,000? So now what happens? You get what I'm saying? Now you need to have a risk reversal. If you don't get the result and you've done everything that like would otherwise need to be done on your end, like you fulfilled your obligations and it purely was me who could not get the result, then I'll give you my retainer feedback, right? So now what do you get to say? You get to say, hey, I'll guarantee that you get a 3 times return running ads through me or you don't pay, right? Cool. Congratulations. You have a front end cold traffic offer, right? That's how cold traffic converts. Then there's other kind of avenues that you could play with this. So you could do like a performance basis. So a lot of people in the lead generation space do this, where some people might try to get a retainer and be like, hey, you give me $3,000 and I'll promise you 10 appointments, right? Everyone says that though. So you need to take it a step further, in which case it would be, hey, you give me $3,000, I'll promise you 10 appointments. And if you don't get the 10 appointments, I'll give you a refund for the appointments that weren't booked. Now you're effectively a performance based and there's a risk reversal. But you could take this even a step further. You could say, hey, you pay me as I get the appointments booked. So there's no $3,000 up front. It's like, hey, I book you an appointment, you give me $300. I book you the next appointment, you pay me $300. I book you the next appointment, you pay me $300. So now it's a performance basis. Now this is even less risky for the client because they don't have to batch give you a bunch of money. They pay as the results occur, so it's less risky for them. Again, if you're selling to cold traffic, everybody is always going to default to the least risky option. In fact, not only will they default to the least risky option, they'll also default to just simply the cheapest option. So let me give you for instance of this. Let's say there's a coaching program and then there's somebody with a course. Let's say there's only 2 people in the market. One person sells a $3,000 coaching offer and one person sells a $97 ebook and course and case study combo, right? And now let's say that the case studies, the average result of the coaching program is like 90%. Like everyone gets phenomenal results and they all get like a 10x return like on the coaching program. And then let's say the $97 product has like a very low success rate, like not really many people get results, and when they do get results, it's like okay, you know what I mean? It's not like the craziest thing ever. Presented with these 2 opportunities, cold traffic is gonna 100% of the time the $97 option. Why? Because it's the lowest absolute amount of risk. Most people do not have like that it factor. They're willing to take a bet on themselves, so they always go with the least risky option possible, right? This is why people never hit their potential in their life, because they're completely unwilling to experience or take any risk in any form. And it's why they all live mediocre lives and don't accomplish anything magnificent at all ever in any regard. That's their business, their relationships, their personal life in any capacity. They do nothing magnificent at all. This is the default state of humans, right? And your job as a marketer and salesperson and a business owner is to do your best, just to do your absolute best to maneuver and finagle your way into convincing and persuading these people to just take the risk and do what actually is mathematically best for them. They're not going to do it on their own. You get what I'm saying? Recap. If you don't have a tremendous amount of market authority, and if you need clients right now, you need to have a front-end cold traffic offer, right? And then when you have a front-end cold traffic offer, you're able to sell it and scale it with cold DMs and cold email because it's super easy to sell specifically to cold traffic on the front end. You see what I mean? Now, we're putting on a 5-day live challenge that is specifically for people who want to develop front-end cold traffic offer and then scale their business with cold DMs and cold emails using that front-end cold traffic offer. What I mean is like exactly what to say in messages, exactly how to run the sales process, exactly how to systematize and onboard the clients, and then exactly how to scale with warm traffic after it has already been proven, and like what to say in your offer and how exactly to structure it based on the thing you're selling right now at all. It's an amazing product. It's called the Get Clients Challenge. You can scan that thing right there, or it's the first link in the description. At the time of this filming, over like 350 people have gone through it. We have people who get clients that week, like literally the week of the challenge, like day 3, they've signed a client. They're booking sales calls. It's so easy when you figure this out. You get your front end cold traffic offer, right? And there's a whole group for this too, because you're gonna be posting it with homework. It's an actual challenge, right? Like you're doing stuff during this, right? You get your offer. Day 2 is when we write outreach scripts, and you start sending outreach on day 2, right? And we get people booking calls on day 2, legitimately, like 48 hours after it starts. It's insane. People are signing clients that week, right? So if you're interested in actually doing this and signing up for this challenge and actually doing the thing and following along, submitting the homework, doing the challenges, scan that thing, click the first link in the description. I'll see you over there. Leave a comment, like the video, whatever. Peace. I love you.